Did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7? The Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Roadrunner Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network. Live from the Dignity Health Studios in downtown Bakersfield, California.
And hey, welcome in once again to another edition of Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. Thanks so much for joining us on the program today. We got a great show planned for you, as always. Corey Costello here with you, and, I have Kevin Harvick over my shoulder. A couple of our big supporters and some of the people that will find their ways just making appearances during our basketball games this season are guys, like Kevin Harvick of the Kevin Harvick Scholarship every year. Also, we've got some other big heads that will pop around in the studio here once in a while. So there's our first appearance on the program. Thanks so much for joining us today. We got a great show planned. We're going to be speaking. It's a big week for women's basketball. We're going to be speaking with head coach Greg McCall as his team is finally opening their conference schedule. They have they've been on the road the last couple weeks in Western Athletic Conference play. They are 1-1, and we will chat with Coach McCall coming up in the next segment about his squad and this team's their goals going into this weekend against two very good Seattle and Idaho University squads. So we will chat with Coach McCall coming up in the next segment. Also, at the bottom of the hour, Michaela Paige will join us, CSUB women's basketball, or CSUB women's swimming, I should say. She is an outstanding sophomore swimmer and continues to just set a blistering pace that she started last year as a freshman. And the women's swim team, 8-2 after sweeping a tri-dual over the weekend and getting 3 victories. So we'll chat with her. She had a couple event wins as well. So we'll talk with Michaela Paige on the program. And in the final segment of the show, Saturday's basketball games. Now, for the men's basketball team is on the road at the University of Idaho. For the women's basketball team, it's home Saturday afternoon against the University of Idaho at the Icardo Center. And so we got a chance to, earlier in the year, back in October actually, during WAC Media Day, hear from the head coaches of both Idaho's men's and women's basketball team. So we'll have that video for you a little bit later in the program to let you learn a little bit about Idaho and what they bring to the table in both this weekend's men's basketball game on the road and women's basketball game at the Icardo Center. So that's coming up in the final segment of the show as well. But first, a busy week for Roadrunner basketball, and let's go straight to the highlights. Let's start with the men's highlights. They were home Thursday night, another conference game. They're second at home at Rabobank Arena. Things going well for Bakersfield in the second half early. Javante Maynor hits his three-pointer, and he's fouled. The runners up 11 with 15:56 to play. Javante would miss the free throw on the 4-point play, and that was the beginning of the end for the runners. They go on a 7-minute and 20-second scoring drought. Nothing went in, and I mean nothing. Everything, though, seemed to go for Grand Canyon as they were able to score off the Bakersfield misses, hit jumpers as well. Bakersfield would tie it twice more, but every time they did, Grand Canyon went on a 7-0 run. 2 of them late. The three-pointer here, or another opportunity here for the runners, not going in, and then for Grand Canyon, they would get 1 late three-pointer as well. Bakersfield, Coach Barnes said, we tried everything, and they just shots just simply didn't go in this ball game. And then this another Grand Canyon conversion, and then this three-pointer from the corner really just seals things up for Grand Canyon, and Antelopes win 66-63. Here's head coach Rod Barnes.
Obviously, we got to congratulate Grand Canyon. We've had a similar situation that happened to us the other night, and obviously we got to fix the second half. We came out with a good game plan, up 10 at the half. Thought we defended really well. Thought we ran our offense pretty well to win the game. And second half, obviously, we had slippage on the defensive end for a team that shoots 65%. Second half is really tough on you. Told our team that we're playing not to lose, and we're not playing to win. And we've got to fix that as a staff. And the only way we're going to gain confidence is we got to continue to work, show our guys their mistakes. Hopefully figure out what is going on in the second half from the standpoint of not defending, because it's two different teams that we saw first half to second half.
So the Runners fall to 0-2 in WAC play with a 66-63 loss to Grand Canyon. Isaiah Grayson, 19 points to lead the Runners, but again, a bad second half sinks Bakersfield in that loss. Now, coming up for the Roadrunners, as I mentioned earlier, they are on the road this weekend. Bakersfield will be at Seattle on Thursday at 7 o'clock, and then at the University of Idaho on Saturday. And that game against University of Idaho in Moscow on Saturday evening. It's the first two-game WAC week for Bakersfield. Look at other scores from around the conference on Saturday. It was New Mexico beating Idaho 78-54. That came 2 days after Idaho got their first WAC win, 86-83, in a buzzer beater at UT Pan Am. Also getting victories this past weekend, Chicago State with another win, 68-66 over Kansas City. Quentin Piper with a career-high 23 points, and the game winner with 1.7 seconds left for the Cougars. They'll be in Bakersfield next week. Meanwhile, it was Utah Valley beating Grand Canyon 65-58 in Saturday's action. Ben aired 23 points and a career-high 15 rebounds in the win over the Antelopes. And Seattle, who Bakersfield will see on Thursday night, beat Pan Am in Edinburgh 64-46 on Saturday as well. Well, now the men's basketball team, as we pointed out, they're on the road. It means women's basketball, because of the flip-flop conference schedule, they are at home, and the Runners finally get a chance to open up their home schedule. But first, we'll take you to their last road game. They were on the road at Grand Canyon as we take you to GCU Arena. The Runners looking for that second WAC win, but they would need to stop this young lady, Caitlin Peterson, and it was no easy task as she hits one three-pointer there, a couple three-pointers early as well for Peterson. She would give Grand Canyon the lead of 11. Alyssa Shannon, though, get into the action for Bakersfield, the layup and the foul. She had 15 for the Roadrunners. More from the Antelopes, though, from beyond the arc as Jenna Pearson hits a three right before half. Grand Canyon up 20 at the break. Second half, Tana Outland gets going with a three-pointer for the Roadrunners, but, Grand Canyon never letting up. They would lead by double digits for the rest of the game. Here's Outland again for the Roadrunners, cutting the lead to 10 with this layup. She had a team-high 19, but Grand Canyon more from Caitlin Peterson. This time she's going to drive and get the layup as the Antelopes beat Bakersfield 78-64. So the Roadrunners go to 1-1 in Western Athletic Conference women's basketball play. Again, Tana Outland, 19 points to lead the Runners. Head coach Greg McCall will join us in the next segment. Also, 15 points for Alyssa Shannon, 14 for Melissa Sweat. Here's what's coming up for the Roadrunners. They get to open up conference play. Thursday night, they'll host Seattle University at the Icardo Center, 7 o'clock the start time there. And then on Thursday afternoon, the Roadrunners will host Idaho at the Icardo Center, 3 o'clock the tip-off for that. And most, if not all, women's basketball Saturday home games are going to be afternoon start, so keep that in mind. 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon for the Runners. And Idaho, the defending Western Athletic Conference champions from last season as well. Speaking of Seattle U coming to town Thursday, they went 2-0 this weekend. Let's head to the Connolly Center in Seattle, take a look at the Red Hawks as they were taking on UT Pan Am, and Pan American getting an early layup from Casey Swole gives the Red Hawks the lead. The story of the game, however, was Sylvia Shepard, a three here to give the Red Hawks a lead for good, and she wasn't finished. Another three with just over 10 left in the first half. Seattle will lead by 22 at half because, she hit another right before the buzzer. She had a game-high 20 points. Second half for Seattle. Here's another Casey Soul layup as they're going to feed her down in the post, moving towards the hoop. She had 16 for the Red Hawks. They roll in this one 84-62. They are now 3-1 in Western Athletic Conference play. So Seattle with the 84-62 win. They're 3-1 in the conference. And as I mentioned, Idaho, the defending WAC champions, they are 4-0. So it's going to be a very tough weekend for women's basketball. Idaho beating New Mexico 79-51. Only unbeaten team remaining in conference play on the women's side. Grand Canyon winning at Utah Valley 88-51. Kansas City beat Chicago State 88-53. That's your women's basketball scores from around the Western Athletic Conference as it was another weekend of a lot of home court dominance. We're going going to talk to Greg McCall about that because it's kind of funny. Women's basketball, not so much playing well on the road. Men's basketball teams in the conference are winning a lot of games on the road. So we'll talk with them about that coming up as well. A couple other events around the Bakersfield area this past weekend. Roadrunner Wrestling. How about a great weekend for them? The Runners splitting a pair of dual meets over the weekend. Bakersfield first knocking off number 24 Boise State 19-13 in Pac-12 action at the Ed Cardo Center on Friday night. What a win for the Roadrunners there, beating Boise State 19-13. Jose Mendoza with a win at 133. And how about Dalton Kelly winning at 145 pounds over Chris Castillo, the top-ranked 145-pounder in the Pac-12 conference. Then the Runners, unfortunately, falling to Oregon State on Sunday, 25-10. Bakersfield hanging in early, but falling short to number 20 Oregon State. Ian Nickel, David Meza, Jose Mendoza all posting wins for the Roadrunners. And swimming, we're going to be talking to Michaela Paige a little bit later in the program. How about women's swim? What a start they continue to have. A event sweep, a tri-dual sweep. They absolutely crushed Loyola Marymount, 201-92. They just beat Loyola for the first time last year. Well, this season the Runners got all over them, 201-92. Then they beat UC San Diego 160-139 in the second part of that. And then Alaska Fairbanks, Bakersfield with the 160-139 there win as well. Michaela Paige, a few event wins. She will join us later on the program. All right, that's what happened. What a weekend. All kinds of stuff going on. And plenty more this weekend as well. We'll have highlights on next week's show. But, after a couple weeks off for the holidays and some worst of performances, it's now time to get back to new versions of Corey Versus. This time, I take on literally a terrifying event, the hammer throw. Let's check it out. Welcome back into Roadrunner Rundown here at Corey Versus, and this is probably, I've done a lot of these things so far, and most of them I'm kind of fun, looking forward to. I'm terrified of this one. Hold up, please, if we're here with Gabe, Brian, and then our throwing coach, Al Colatz. This is the hammer, and you guys are going to attempt to kind of show me how to throw this thing. I'm kind of terrified. Like, why did you decide ever to be hammer throwers?
I just like to throw stuff.
I came in here from Liberty High School, and I was just a shot putter, and Coach thought it'd be good to try me at the hammer, and, I was good at it. So.
All right, now I have this official-looking glove on, which makes me look important. Now, Al, I know you have a great history with this event. What are some of the finer points, and we'll do a little tutorial, but what are some of the finer points and keys of being a successful hammer thrower?
Well, to be a successful hammer thrower, you have to be able to work hard. This is one of the toughest events in track and field. It takes a lot of technique, a lot of strength, a lot of quickness. But it's one of those events that if you dedicate yourself to over a long period of time, you can see some success, no doubt.
All right, well, let's get to the tutorial, and then obviously we'll let these guys throw a little bit and show you how it's supposed to be done, and then I'll take a shot, and we'll just make sure we move the cameras really far back to make sure we don't hurt them. So let's get to that. So Gabe Holland's going to give it a go first. He finished 6th last year in the Great West Conference meet. Solid throw, and look at the impact. But now it's Brian Wilmert's turn. He finished 2nd last year in the Great West and is expected to be one of the best in the WAC this season. Look at that throw. Incoming! Like a mortar finding its target.
The hammer's thrown usually with 3 or 4 turns, depending on the athlete, depending on the coach's philosophy. But for you, we're gonna do a 1 turn, okay?
That's a good 1 turn.
So the 1 turn. So what we're gonna do here is I showed you how to wind, right?
Right.
So I showed you how to wind. Yeah. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get in the ring, probably center of the ring for you for a 1 turn.
Okay.
And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your left heel, right toe, to both toes, and then pivot and let it go. That's a 1 turn.
Okay.
So, remember, left heel. So are you doing a heel turn?
Heel, right.
Okay, so you're turning like this, right? Ball of the right foot, left heel.
Right.
And then you're going to step over and land on, so you're on the balls of both feet, and you're going to pivot and release it.
All right.
Yeah?
Okay, stand back. Clear out, everybody.
Okay, so nice.
Oh, boy,
one,
here goes
right?
nothing.
Got it. Here we go. Here goes nothing.
Here we go. Hands up, everybody.
Too many steps, too many turns. Oh, terrible.
Oh, terrible.
Yes, we
It
know
doesn't
this.
matter what kind of athlete you are. You can be the best athlete in the world.
Or the worst.
And if you put a hammer in somebody's hand that has never done it before, they're going to look just like that. So he's doing a great job. Again, what you got to do is get your wine going.
Right.
Left heel to both toes to pivot. Okay.
That's what I messed up. Left heel to
both
toes, then to pivot.
Correct.
Got it.
Make sure you get around though. Left heel, knees tight, just like that.
All right.
All right.
It's pretty good. Again, I lose count of my spins and footwork, and that's what you get, a dud. I think the hammer wins this one. Don't try this at home, kids. You'll only disappoint yourself. Hey man, that thing scared me. I'm glad it's over. It was like a medieval death weapon, and at any point I was gonna just lose track of my swing and catch myself right in the temple. So anyway, that's over with. I have been invited back to try the discus next week, so that'll be on next week's show. I will be a couple of those same gentlemen and I will be throwing the discus with discus, which I think I have a better shot at. So we'll hope for that next week. But thanks to Al Colatz and those guys as well for showing me what is really one of the most terrifying things I've ever done. I just was scared of that weapon. Anyway, more to come on Corey versus next week. Like I said, we'll be in the discus pit. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk basketball. Greg McCall is going to join us, women's hoops coach. That's coming up next. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
I'm Lisa Kirsch. Coming up Wednesday on Live Well, we'll have the latest in health trends from right here in Kern County and around the world, plus winter skin. An esthetician will be joining us with information about treating your skin right during this time of year and how men, women, and children all need special skin attention this time of year. Plus, our Moms Roundtable is back, and you never know what's going to be said. We will see you for Live Well coming up Wednesday, only on Bakersfield.com.
Brave and bold, silver and gold.
We're on a mission.
Aggie up.
Bronx Country just got a whole lot bigger.
Mighty Wolverines of UVU.
Join the herd. Lopes up.
Bold moves, big season, grew up.
We are the new gold standard.
We will be champions.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the big dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner.
All session passes on sale now for $165 by calling 654-BLUE. And welcome back here to Roadrunner Rundown as we continue on the program. And now Dr. Mitchell joining us over my shoulder on the show. There you go. First was Kevin Harvick. Now it's our very own Dr. Horace Mitchell. And also joining us in the studio now, our very own Greg McCall. He is the head women's basketball coach who finally gets a conference game at home on Thursday. You got to be pretty pumped after a couple weeks on the road in conference play.
Definitely. We're very excited about it. The girls are pumped up about it. So we just got to keep them a little bit calm so where they won't get so overjoyed because they're at home and not perform well.
Well, let's talk first about your start to conference play. Your team went 1-1 on 2 road games, and it's never easy to win at Utah Valley. You went and did that. You found out that Grand Canyon is going to be a very tough place to play. Give me your thoughts on those first couple games from what you saw out of your team.
Well, Utah Valley was, a very smart team. It's a very tough atmosphere to play in. A little bit of the altitude will, kind of bother you a little bit. So we kind of had to make a lot of frequent subs on that. But they're a very good team at their place. They're not a very good road team, but at home they're very good, and the officials are very good to them as well, too. So it's one of those games where we never did make it to the bonus either half. I think the first half we shot 6 free throws, and the second half we shot 1.
Wow.
And we still ended up coming out with the victory. So
yeah, obviously that's a pretty big testament. Grand Canyon was a pretty good home team as well this year. It seemed like they just shot the lights out in the game. We showed some of the highlights earlier.
Yeah, they did. They shot lights out in the game, and we couldn't hit anything in the first half. I think we shot 16% in the first half, didn't hit any three-point shots. We were getting all the shots that we wanted to get, and we just couldn't put them in. It was at one time I think we got 4 or 5 straight offensive rebounds in a row, and we still couldn't put the ball in the basket. And it was just one of those halves that we couldn't do anything. And dug ourselves a deep hole in the first half. Second half we came out, shot nearly to 50%. From the field and did a pretty good job from the three-point line, but we dug ourselves a deep hole. So.
Watching some of the highlights in the last couple of games too, seeing what you guys have done, it seems like this year a little bit the execution of your team has been it's much more solid. You are getting the three-pointers you talked about you wanted from the outside. We saw some of the highlights just recently. You're getting the chance to drive in and make plays as well. So it really seems like the execution level of your team is at a really high level this season.
Yeah, it is. And that's like I think I've said in the earlier shows that, it's the team that comes down when it gets down to close games, who can execute the best in the half-court offense. And that's one of the things that we've been just continuously working on over and over and over and over, just half-court offense. And, we kind of did a little bit of switch this last practice. We kind of got away. We didn't get away from it. We still continue to work on it. But I kind of got the girls a little bit more up-tempo, a little bit more, and try to get us some easier baskets because we still want to get those easy transition buckets. But we still got to make sure we be able to execute in the half-court offense.
Tyne Outland's been solid, and obviously you knew she was going to be. But your thoughts on what she's brought to the team so far, even in the first couple conference games as well?
Just tremendous leadership, her tenacity to win. She wants to win at all costs. She was very upset in the Grand Canyon game that she got picked up, her third foul in the first half, and it just kind of set the tone for the rest of the way in the first half for us because, our team does depend upon her, but we got to also understand that we still have to be able to score without her being on the floor, as well as she has to understand that even though that she picked up a third foul, that she can't let herself get down that far in the dumps where she just kind of forgot about everybody else that were out there on the floor. And she has to be, that's the part that she has to, the first time it ever happened.
Sure.
So, it's something that she kind of learned from, and she'll grow from that.
A couple other scorers that have been playing pretty well. Melissa Sweat. Alyssa Shannon seems to be scoring more this season. We talked about her on the show a few weeks ago, but you knew she was going to develop, but develop this quickly into now being a scorer and a really tough guard to deal with at the Division I level. I mean, are you surprised it's been that quick?
Yeah, I am, surprised, but I knew that she's a very, very hard worker. She had a really good spring and summer. Mm-hmm. She worked extremely hard to develop her shot. She's really, really coachable. If you tell her to go right, left, right, that's exactly what she's going to do. And sometimes that doesn't develop as well as on the floor because there are other things that might happen to cut that off. But she's so coachable, she's just going to do exactly what you tell her to do, which makes it a lot easier.
Makes your job a lot easier. Speaking with Greg McCall, head women's basketball coach. Runners opening up this weekend their conference schedule at home. You have a few conference games under your belt. Do you feel your team is getting into a flow? I know it's been hard because you've had one conference game a week, but I know a few weeks ago you played a few non-conference games, then your conference games. Do you feel the team's kind of getting into that conference flow of playing a couple times a week and the importance of the games and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it really does. It helped us a lot when we had those games all right after Christmas break, and we had I think it was Fresno Pacific.
Right.
Then we went down to Northridge, and then we had our conference game, which those was 3 games in 6 days. So it was really good for us to get into a rhythm. And I was telling our girls that everybody else is kind of sitting and waiting.
Right.
Let's just get into a rhythm, and we got into a good rhythm. And then that we didn't have another game for another whole week and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just that one game. So we're getting right back into the rhythm of it. And our girls, they're really excited about where we are. They even though we lost that game to Grand Canyon, they were, definitely upset. We had some girls that were really mad, and some were crying in the locker room, which is really good to see.
Sure.
Some emotion on that part of them. And but they were also saying that, hey, this is probably good that we kind of got ourselves, knocked off a little bit early, so we can kind of see what it feels like in the conference and not get knocked off late.
Now, you have open this weekend at home with 2 of the toughest teams in the conference,
Yes.
Seattle and Idaho. First, Seattle on Thursday night. They're coming off a win against UTPA. We saw some highlights earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They got a few girls who can score, so what's the game plan against the Seattle squad on Thursday?
Well, definitely to stop their big girl on the inside. We know that she loves to post up on the right block, actually on the left block, so she can turn and shoot over her left shoulder. So we got to eliminate that and take that away from her and make her use it, go the other way, take away her left shoulder so she can't shoot with her right hand all the time. Run a lot of double teams at her, but just limit her touches if we can. Work extremely hard, as well as on the other end, make her play some defense. Now, I know they like to sit back in a zone a lot, but we're still going to attack them from that.
And Idaho are the defending conference champions, coming in Saturday at 3, 4-0 right now in the NCAA tournament last year. How much of a challenge will they be given, some of the, size, athleticism, and, just flat-out athletes they have on that team?
Yeah, they have a lot of athletes. They're not a very big team. They're probably pretty much similar to us, but they're very good shooters, and that's what they depend a lot upon is their three-point shooting ability. So we're going to have to eliminate their three-point shot. We're really going to have to get up in them and pressure them and really keep them in front of us and not let them penetrate and draw double teams and kick for open shooters. So we're going to have to do a good job on that.
The advantage for you guys is you're going to be at home, and it seems like on the women's basketball side of things, that has meant a lot early on. I know you guys had a road win, but that's meant a lot. On the men's basketball side of things, road teams continue to win every week, but on the women's side, home court's been a big deal early on. So, have you noticed that as well with women's basketball?
Yes, I have. It's been a really big deal. You go to Grand Canyon, and their atmosphere alone, makes it huge. They have they do a really good job over there. So they have a really good home court advantage. And I think our fans have done a really good job here to help boost us up. And we're undefeated at home as well too. So we like to keep our, that streak going as well too. So we do have an advantage for having the top 2 teams to come to us first.
Yeah.
Us splitting early on in the conference just to get our feet wet on that first win and then come right back against Grand Canyon. But then we had the next 2 teams as the top teams. They started from the bottom and came up, so we're starting that up here now and getting them at home, so that'll be good for us.
Now, finally, you've been around this program for a few years. How excited are you finally for conference play at home? I know you opened. What was it first? I guess like opening conference play on the road, and then how excited are you to be able to open conference play at home finally?
Well, to be on the road, it was exciting. Still, it was a conference game, and our girls are so excited about playing their first conference game. And we were telling them this is an opportunity for you to make history. Yeah. You can be the first Division I team that has the conference to win this game. And they did. They went out and did that. And then after the game on the board, they wrote history. We made history. But to have it at home is another thing. You're right here at home in front of your fans, and you definitely don't want to disappoint your fans. And you want to come out and perform at the highest level that you can. And number one thing I keep telling our girls, we got to just score. Yeah. We got to score.
There you go. Well, women's basketball Thursday at 7 against Seattle, Saturday at 3 o'clock against Idaho. Head coach Greg McCall, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch up again soon. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll be back. We're going to head to the pool. Well, not literally, but Michaela Paige will join us from the pool. A sophomore women's swimmer. We'll chat with her next after a great weekend for CSUB. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the Big Dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner.
All session passes on sale now for $165 by calling 654-BLUE. Welcome back in, Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. Thanks so much for joining us, and you can catch us anytime as well on our website at GoRunners.com. You can check out past shows and much, much more. And if you go to the website here in the next day or so, you will see this young lady on the front page because she had a tremendous weekend, as did her team, as Michaela Paige joins us. She's a sophomore on the CSUB women's swim team. Michaela, thanks so much for joining us. How have you been?
Great, thanks for having me.
Well, first of all, this weekend, you guys had winning 3 events. Talk about just Saturday's event and what it was like as a team to get those 3 victories.
It was great. It was a lot of fun. We weren't really sure if we were going to win against UC San Diego, but we ended up winning, and it was a lot of fun. It was great.
And it seems like every time I turn around, now just a backstory, Michaela last year, like the first time she got in the pool, she broke a CSUB record, like 3 of them. And the next week she breaks like 2 more. And we're like, wow, who's this freshman girl just coming out of nowhere? So it seems like every time I turn around, you're either setting a record or winning an event. Talk about the season so far for you personally, as it seems like you've had a lot of success to back up that freshman year.
Yeah, this season I haven't broken any school records yet.
There you go.
But I actually have had best times. I'm going the times that I went last year at dual meets this year, so it's great. I'm looking forward to conference and seeing how much time I drop.
Now, what was it? How hard did you have to work? Because you hear this term in sports all the time, sophomore slump. Now, whether that is a pro athlete who goes from being a rookie to his second year, or a college athlete who goes from being a freshman to an actual sophomore, how hard did you have to work to avoid that and kind of keep pace with what you did last year?
I've had to work hard. I've stepped up on the training a lot. I don't know. I was injured last year during conference season, so that kind of put me in a slump. So that motivated me to work even harder to not have that sophomore slump this year.
Does it? And I talk about this sometimes, injuries with other players and other sports. But when you get an injury, I mean, how does that change you? Because you kind of realize that how quickly it can just go away.
Yeah, last year was really frustrating towards the end of the year. I wanted to swim as fast as I could, but I wasn't able to due to my injury, and that just made me want to work so much harder this year to be able to do the times that I want.
Well, so far so good. Michaela Paige here on Roadrunner Rundown. You swim in several events, but what's your favorite? What's your bread and butter?
My best event, like time-wise, is probably the 200 butterfly, but my favorite is probably 200 freestyle.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I see you, and I see your butterfly stuff. That's pretty tricky. What is the biggest key to being a good butterfly stroke swimmer?
Endurance, I guess I would say. The two fly hurts no matter which way you swim it. You just gotta accept it and keep pushing.
There you go. Accept it and keep pushing. Swim angry. Michaela Paige joining us here on Roadrunner Rundown. Now, this women's team has been a work in progress for Chris and staff for about 3 years now, and you guys are like 8-2 now. I mean, a great start, best ever at the Division I level. How happy are you about this start and to be a part of this team's turnaround, resurgence?
It's great. Chris has really done a good job of making our women's team better. He's built it from the ground up. It's exciting to see. We actually will have the first winning record that CSUB women's swim team has had in probably, I want to say, 16 years.
Wow.
So it's cool. It's fun. I love being a part of the team and being able to make history for CSUB.
Are you surprised it happened so quickly? I think even Chris is surprised it happened, but are you surprised it happened so quickly?
Very surprised. When I was recruited, Chris told me we're rebuilding the swim team, and that was something I wanted to be a part of. I didn't think it would happen this fast. This is the second year, and we've improved a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, and a great start. Chris, we had him on the show last week, Chris Hansen, and he was talking about the co-ed mesh of the team. He runs the men's and women's teams, and so you guys are training together a lot. What's that like, and how does that help you as an athlete when you have both the men's and women's teams around?
I love it. I actually swim and train with majority of boys. There's a couple girls in there, but it's great because they're faster than we are. So, they're there to motivate us, to push us. You want to beat the boys. They don't want you to beat them. So it's great.
Have you ever beaten one of the boys?
Yeah, I do. I beat the boys all the time.
You beat the boys all the time. Is there any one boy you would like to call out and say, I beat him all the time?
Last year I beat Justin Young quite a bit. I don't know. It's Luca, like just the boys in my group I beat. It's
nice.
Fun. Yeah.
And that seems to help as a training style to have both teams. I mean, some schools will run the program separate, but to have both teams together, it seems to really not only help the training, but also help you guys as a group.
Yeah, we're really close. Yeah.
And do you like, on the closeness note, do you like doing all the other teams the swim team does besides swim? I mean, you guys are involved with a lot of things around campus. You're at other events. You're cheering on other teams, and you do it all together. Do you enjoy that stuff?
Yeah, I love it. That's the college experience that I wanted. I wanted to be a part of a team that was like a family that wanted to hang out and do other stuff besides just swim.
Yeah, so. and you guys do it very, very well. We actually, last week, we showed the men's team was in their swimsuits at the game.
Yeah, they were.
You guys were in
we weren't allowed.
Warm-ups.
We weren't allowed to be in our swimsuits.
Michaela Paige joining us on Roadrunner Rundown. You relay a little bit, too. I know you're a part of a very fast relay team. What's that like as a swimmer? I mean, how does it change when you're swimming a leg of a relay? Is there certain different roles if you're starting off the relay or you're anchoring it? I mean, how does that change you as a swimmer?
For the relay, it's obviously a group, like it's a team thing. I lead off majority of the time, so I want to get that head start, that extra lead off for the girls so we can pull ahead. You really race for your girls, you race for the team, and it's just a different aspect than racing individually for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you like? I mean, is that something? Is that enjoyable, or do you prefer maybe racing alone?
Relays are a lot more fun than individual. Yeah, they're fun.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about your swimming backstory. I mean, what what got you into swimming? I always ask people, student athletes, why this sport? Well, why swimming? What got you started, and when did you get going?
I've been swimming probably for about 10 years now competitively, and honestly, my dad was the person that got me into it. I've always loved the water. I grew up on the coast, so my dad really just saw that I could have had it, like I had a talent for it, and pushed me to swim competitively.
Now, how did that include, like, is there clubs, and was it high school clubs, that kind of stuff?
I swam for Tsunami Swim Club, and then I ended up switching over to Santa Maria, which was more of a elite swim club. And then I swam for high school 2 years, but then I just swam for my club for my junior and senior year.
Okay, so a lot of that's and that's, I mean, how many weekends a year is club swimming?
Tons of weekends. You definitely have to be dedicated, and you take a lot of time out of your life for swimming.
Because it doesn't seem like it seems like it's a sport that can pretty much go all year round, because A, a lot of pools are heated, but B, there's indoor facilities all around California and the western part of the U.S. So it's not like, for example, a travel baseball team or stuff like that. Like, you could probably go pretty much year round.
No, swimming is a year-round sport.
Wow,
yeah, it's year-round.
And so pretty much that is your life. Now, you are a Lompoc native, right?
Yes.
Why Bakersfield? You went from there to Bakersfield. Why did you choose CSUB?
I mainly did because of the swim team, how close everyone was, the atmosphere of the school. I liked that it wasn't big, but it was, kind of small. Everyone knows each other. We're very close community, like with the athletics.
Yeah.
That was mainly the big reason why.
So again, that kind of co-ed mesh.
Not even just with our swim team, but with all of the sports.
Awesome. Now you're still doing nursing. Is that still the major?
Yeah, that's the major.
How the heck are you pulling? I mean, that is one of the toughest majors on campus. How are you pulling that off and swimming? How's that working out?
It's hard. It's tricky. I actually am still doing my gen ed, so I haven't really started the nursing program, but. We'll see when it comes.
Oh, okay. So you're not even in the crazy part yet.
No,
just
I'm
the
not.
Gen Ed. So,
just gen eds.
Yeah, we'll wait next year when her times go down because of the junior slump, because she's in class or studying all the time. Now you have your uncle Sean played for the Oakland Raiders, so you have a family of athletes. Mm-hmm. So what's that? What's that like? And obviously this kind of runs in the family. So did you get a lot of did you grow up around sports and football and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm actually the only girl out of like all boy cousins, and so I've grown up with sports, playing football, basketball outside with the boys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So it was been a family affair, definitely. Michaela Paige on Roadrunner Rundown, and Bakersfield at 8-2, and a very great start for the women's team. And conference coming up, you talked about how excited you are about that, but how important are those conference meets? When you go to one place, you're going to take on a couple conference teams. I mean, how important are those to set you up for the conference tournament and things like that, and then nationals as well?
Well, the dual meets that we have through the season is just like swim meets to see like what teams, you want to have the best times you can, but conference is really the big swim meet where you show what you got and you taper down, and it's fun. The boys are actually coming with us this year. We're in the same conference, so it should be a lot of fun, and we'll see what happens.
And I know every swimmer wants to get that opportunity to swim at nationals, and that's an individual accomplishment.
Yeah.
I mean, is there one event? Is it maybe the 200 fly that you're focusing on to say, hey, this year or maybe next year, before I'm done, I want to be at nationals in that event?
Yeah, one of my goals this year is to win conference, and I definitely want to make NCAAs, and probably the 2 fly is the event that I'm leaning towards.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that. And that's in San Antonio, right?
San Antonio.
The WAC meet in San Antonio coming up in just a few weeks, or next month, right? February?
Yeah, the end of February.
End of February, so right around the corner. Michaela Paige on Roadrunner Rundown. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. Congrats again on a good start.
Thank you.
And good luck here in the very short future.
Thanks.
All right, when we come back, folks, we're going to get to more hoops, because this weekend, Bakersfield taking on Idaho in both men's and women's basketball. The men on the road, the women are at home, and we got a chance at WAC Media Day to hear from both Idaho head coaches, men's and women's. So we will see and hear from them coming up in the next segment. So stick around for that. Back after this, it's Roadrunner Rundown.
Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit kernbusinessjournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on kernbusinessjournal.com.
I'm Lisa Kirsch. Coming up Wednesday on Live Well, we'll have the latest in health trends from right here in Kern County and around the world, plus winter skin. An esthetician will be joining us with information about treating your skin right during this time of year and how men, women, and children all need special skin attention this time of year. Plus, our Moms Roundtable is back, and you never know what's going to be said. We will see you for Live Well coming up Wednesday, only on Bakersfield.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californian's Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the Big Dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner.
All session passes on sale now for $165 by calling 654-BLUE. And welcome back into Roadrunner Rundown, final segment of the show. Hey, by the way, we're at the Dignity Health Studios here at the downtown offices of the Bakersfield Californian, and I gotta encourage everybody to get the Bakersfield Californian mobile TBC mobile app. And here's why: not just because there's other great stuff, but when you go to the sports section on the TBC mobile app, there's a whole bunch of Roadrunner Rundown videos. Look at all that. It's all Roadrunner Rundown, every segment from like the last several weeks, right there on your smartphone. So get the TBC mobile app and search the Bakersfield Californian in your Android or iPhone marketplace store or iTunes store, and get me with you on the road anytime. So there you go. That's all. That's fantastic stuff, and it's all through the TBC mobile app. So they didn't even pay me to say that. I'm just saying it because it's me in your pocket all the time. So make sure you get that. Anyway, moving on to basketball. It's a busy weekend for men's and women's hoops. The first two conference game week for Bakersfield. They've had one the last couple weeks. They're getting to the Thursday-Saturday schedule. Men's team on the road Thursday and Saturday. Women's team at home Thursday and Saturday. Well, Saturday, both teams are facing the University of Idaho. And we got a chance back at WAC Media Day in October to hear from both the men's and women's basketball coaches of Idaho about their teams a little bit. So here it goes with the Idaho coaches in our
I've
Behind
got 10
Enemy
new guys,
line segment.
6 freshmen. So we've been using this extra practice time to get to know each other and to start implementing our systems offensively as well as defensively. But I'm extremely excited about our basketball team. No question about that. Returned Stephen Madison, who I think could be one of the best players in the conference, if not the best player in the conference. Last year we had Kyle Barone, who was the WAC Player of the Year, and I think Stephen's very similar to Kyle, not in size and stature, but in the ability to score the ball and affect the basketball game. We also returned Connor Hill, 6'2" shooting guard from Post Falls, Idaho, who led the WAC in three-point shooting, and I expect Connor to pick up right where he left off. The other 2 returning players in our program, Joe Kammerer did not see a lot of minutes, and Ty Egbert was a redshirt freshman. So those are the only 4 returning guys I have. Back or new guys that should make immediate contributions. Glenn Dean, a transfer from the University of Utah, by way of the NC2A graduation rule, is going to the University of Idaho and getting his master's degree. Glenn was the player of the newcomer of the year in the Big Sky Conference as a freshman, and he is a very experienced guard who I think will step in and play immediately. Also at our guard line, Mike Scott is a junior college transfer from Antelope Valley Junior College, who is a very solid player and will see significant minutes at the guard spot, as well as Suki Wiggs, a transfer from, not a transfer, a freshman from the Seattle area.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Stephen as well as Connor's roles as leaders in helping those new guys incorporate into the team?
Yeah, obviously it has to be, they have to do that. No question about that. Stephen Madison, who's been in our program 4 years, Connor's been in 3, and Joe's actually a 5th-year senior. All 3 of those guys have to be leaders for us and teach the new guys what goes on in our program. I'm fortunate enough to have Glenn Dean, who's been at the Division I college level at the University of Utah last, who understands how the game is supposed to be played. You know, I've known Glenn since he was in high school. Coach Earlywine coached him when he was at Eastern. And so I feel like we've got a bonus in Glenn as far as leadership.
What are some advantages and disadvantages to having a young basketball team?
I'm not sure what the advantages are. I'd rather have an old one. But, no, I think the advantages is enthusiasm, energy, and sometimes not knowing is a good thing. I think that this team has the ability to play at a pretty high level when we learn what it's all about. Obviously, what the disadvantages are is experience. WAC travel's tough. And anytime you travel as much as we do in the Western Athletic Conference, they have no idea how it's going to affect their body. And being disciplined and being organized and taking care of yourself throughout the entire season is going to be really important for us as we go down the stretch in WAC basketball.
We're playing our best basketball in March, and obviously winning the WAC tournament, going to the NCAAs was great for our program. And there's a level of excitement with all the returners coming back. We only lost one contributor really, and all 5 starters are back. So there's been a lot of excitement around campus when we started. A lot of excitement in the gym, meshing the new with the old. And
last year, your team finished 10th in the entire country in 3-point shooting. Can we expect the same thing this year, or do you think it's going to change up a little bit?
Well, what I would expect is be in the top 5 in 3-point shooting. That's what I'm hoping. Kids are a little older. They're confident shooters. I think we recruited a couple other shooters, so that will still be our style. I love the 3, and we like to let it fly. So hopefully we'll make a few more.
You're returning all 5 starters from last year, including your preseason all-WAC honorees, Alyssa Charleston and Stacey Barr. Can you just talk about what having those veteran players means for your expectations?
It's great. It's great and it's bad for Alyssa to be a senior. I'm really going to miss her already. Going to tear up a little bit just thinking about her leaving. She's meant so much to our program, and she's been a leader since her sophomore year. And she's someone that our team has always looked to lead on the floor and off the floor. And she brings a huge presence both places for us. Stacey Barr has really stepped up in that role. She's become much more vocal this year coming back. She stayed this summer and worked out, and I thought came in the best shape of her life when we started out on the floor and everybody got back. And she's been a huge leader. So it's great to have 2 of your upperclassmen really be 2 of your top players and your leaders. I think when you have that combination, good things happen.
Don Verlin and John Newley, the coaches at the University of Idaho, and the runners, both of them taking on Idaho on Saturday in basketball action. The men's team first on the road. On Thursday, they'll be at Seattle, 7 o'clock to start time. Then the runners will go on the road on Saturday to take on Idaho at 7 p.m. as well from Moscow. Spelled like Moscow, pronounced Moscow. So anyway, that is happening this weekend. And then women's basketball, they're at home. They finally get to open their conference schedule. They will host Seattle University Thursday at 7 at the Icardo Center. And then Saturday, 3 p.m., they will host Idaho at the Icardo Center. And as we mentioned, Idaho defending WAC champions. And you heard from their head coach, John Newley, right there. They like to shoot the three, as do the Roadrunners. So good matchup. That's going to be Saturday, 3 p.m. at the Icardo Center. And by the way, you can also watch those games this weekend as well online at gorunners.com. Check out women's basketball action as well. One other action on campus this weekend I wanted to mention before I forgot, CSUB Wrestling back at home hosting Menlo College Friday night at 6:30 at the Icardo Center. So another home duel for Bakersfield, who's wrestling pretty good. I mean, despite the loss to Oregon State, they had the win over Boise State, who was ranked 24th in the country, and a couple days later losing to the 20th ranked team in the country. No shame in that. And so some key wrestlers coming back from injuries, feeling a little bit better, so they're wrestling pretty good. They will host Menlo this weekend at the Icardo Center on Friday. Water polo actually opens up their schedule. They're going to be on the road, but they'll be at San Jose State this weekend as that sport gets going as well. Hey, make sure you follow all the sports all the time online at gorunners.com. We've got news, we've got features, we've got video, we've got audio, we've got press conferences, all that great stuff. And, of course, Roadrunner Rundown. You can catch past shows and today's show as well coming up on gorunners.com. And, of course, scores and live video. Like we said, live video this weekend, women's basketball, their games against Seattle and Idaho, and much, much more. Hey, next week on the program, as I said earlier, I'm going to kind of try to redeem my hammer throwing inability by throwing the discus. So we'll have that on the program as well. We'll have more men's basketball as they get ready for their home series against Kansas City and Chicago State, and a fresh Behind Enemy Lines segment as well coming up next week on the show. So join us Tuesdays at 10 a.m. right here on Bakersfield.com. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. Once again, get us online anytime at GoRunners.com. Follow us on Facebook at CSUB Roadrunners and on Twitter and Instagram at CSUB Athletics. Have a great rest of the week. We'll catch you next time. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.